I now request the Dean to introduce to me the candidate for the honorary doctorate.
Mr. Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I have the honor to introduce you to Dr. Abraham de Vries for the conferment of the degree Doctor of Literature honoris causa. For more than 60 years, Abraham H. de Vries has made a significant contribution to South African literature. From early on, his short stories challenged existing norms and introduced innovative narrative strategies. He was recognized locally and internationally for his work. Since his early years, de Vries has been an outspoken anti-apartheid and anti-censorship critic and registered his opposition in demonstrative ways. As an Afrikaans writer, de Vries has cherished the broadening of the scope of his language in a multilingual environment. De Vries is the leading short story writer in Afrikaans literature. He has published more than 20 short story collections and anthologies, a novella, a poetry collection, several travelogues, as well as a variety of academic and popular publications. He translated literary works from Dutch and produced several video programs on South African writers. As a young writer, he associated himself with the Zestiger movement, and his first collections of short stories clearly bear evidence of the modernist experiments of the time. His oeuvre is characterized by its diversity and literary sophistication. On the one hand, throughout his career, he wrote short stories that in their apparent simplicity recall, often anecdotally, the rural lives of communities and individuals in the little Karoo of his birth. His tales rely on humor, irony, and satire, and adeptness of language use. On the other hand, de Vries employs sophisticated literary techniques where the textual organization, the play with signifiers and metaphor, and literary intertextuality forewarn the reader of the postmodernist layeredness of his texts. His work has been cited, analyzed, and critiqued in books, as well as numerous peer-reviewed articles, dissertations, and theses. His stories are taught in literary classes locally and abroad, and selections of his work have been translated in German and English. His literary achievements as one of the primary Afrikaans authors, his commitment to social and political liberty, and his conscientious commitment to Afrikaans as an encompassing symbol for all its speakers make Abraham H. de Vries a worthy recipient of the degree Doctor Literarum UP honoris causa. Mr. Vice-Chancellor and Principal, I request you to confer the honorary doctorate on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree of Doctor of Literature honoris causa with all the rights and privileges on Dr. Abraham de Vries. I have the honor of requesting our honorary doctorate to deliver their address.
Professor Coupe, members of Council, Professor Reddy and members of the Faculty of Humanities, students, ladies and gentlemen, familie and vrienden. One day last year while I was in my study, reading the completely unexpected letter from you, Mr. Vice-Chancellor and Principal, Julie Andrews started singing on my radio the sentimental song with the unexpected philosophical truth, nothing comes from nothing, nothing ever could. So somewhere in my youth or childhood, I must have done something good. This sort of experience is what makes me believe in wonders. The writing of short stories is not, as is often thought, a talent. It's a life, a way of living. Kortverhale is nie 'n talent nie. Dis 'n leefwyse. Short stories are not viewed as the giants of literature. The shortest English story with a beginning, a middle and an end is said to be Ernest Hemingway's. I quote, "For sale, baby shoes, never worn." 6 words. The Afrikaans translation is shorter. Te koop, babaskoene, nooit gedra. 5 words. The phrase short story is an obvious description of an intricate genre which already has existed in the Bible, in Greek mythology, science fiction in modern times, in the poems en prose of Michaud, Jan Rabie and Breitenbach. My stories, like those of my Afrikaans counterparts, are all written in the African language, which Professor Mahamud Mandani of the Makerere University in Uganda regards as the most successful decolonization initiative in Africa. End of quote. But let me turn to Afrikaans at the University of Pretoria with its department and academic leaders who are well known outside the borders of our country. We all know that our world has become a town. Ons aarde het 'n dorp geword. That is the background against which the University of Pretoria's Tydskrif vir Letterkunde is important. This journal, with its Afrikaans title, dating back to the 30s of the previous century, is now available in e-format in Europe and in Africa, Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Democratic Republic of the Congo, and Cameroon. To group Afrikaans together with other languages of the continent seems to me a praiseworthy transnational move. Allow me to convey my gratitude also to my beloved Klein Karoo. Aan u professore Willie Burger, Hein Willemse en aan die hele departement Afrikaans en Nederlands vir lang ure se werk. Baie dankie. Thank you to the university for the honor bestowed upon me with this prestigious accolade. It is sincerely appreciated.